Morning guys, I'm the Tech Prepper. Hope everybody's doing well. Today's video is going to be very different. I'm actually targeting some of the preppers this time, in addition to the ham radio operators. We're certainly going to do some radio today, but I have a very specific mission objective for today. I'm out in the Tonto National Forest, and for the first time I want to test my ability to carry a full loadout. Essentially, what normally is my backcountry backpack that doubles as my go bag, but also carry out some personal security items. And the reason why I wanted to test this is that I've always tested them separately and never together. And the reality is, if I had to evacuate or even run a small operation to do something like set up comms somewhere, I would very likely need to have the ability to provide some protection for myself and my family and the community outside of my normal CCW pistol. So when I come out here, I typically bring my subcompact. It's a G43, and it's great. I use it on my trail runs, but is by no means effective for what I'm planning to do today. So we're out in the Tonto National Forest. I'm going to try to activate a summit called Ruin Ridge. It should be around a 6-mile round-trip hike with 1,000 feet of gain. And really, I'm testing myself to see if I can set up comms after being thoroughly exhausted after carrying this loadout. And what really got me thinking about this was last week I went to the desert out in Tonopah, and I ran some drills for the first time in a very long time with the family. And I was primarily working on pistol transitions to my, or my rifle transitions to my pistol, and also running my minimalist plate carrier. And I was slow. I've identified that I do need to get some professional training. So I'm going to be looking at probably something like Haley Strategic, since they are local. And in terms of weight today, with those two coming together, I'm at a total of 73 pounds. The pack came in at 49 pounds, and I'm carrying the Eberlestock Fact Track, and it's my normal go bag, which doubles as the backcountry bag, and I have all my comms gear in there as well, and all the support that I need for food, shelter, water, things of that nature. And then for the security loadout, it's coming in at 24 pounds. I have a minimalist plate carrier. This is the Veritas AR500 plate carrier. I just am running the AR500 steel plate on the front, nothing on the back. And I believe I have the shooter's cut, so I have a little bit more mobility in the arms. And then I'm running right now 3 30-round PMags. And normally I run 2 pistol magazines. Right now I can only run 1 for my P226, and that's because I need to carry my multi-tool. So if some work needs to be done, typically carry on these backpacks the Haley Strategic D3 CRM micro chest rig. So I couldn't figure out a good way to get that to kind of co-witness with the plate carrier. So some adjustments are there. And then I'm carrying a full-sized P226 pistol with 15 rounds, 1 in the chamber, and then also an AR-15 pistol with a 20-round magazine. I didn't put a 30 in there just because it was sticking out a bit too far. So right now my capacity is 141 rounds. I ran into a few issues while packing. Like I said, I wasn't used to having to take off some of the MOLLE attachment points off of my chest rig and reworking things. I even had to rework the radio pouch and put that on the belt strap of my pack. So I encourage everybody to get out and actually try their gear outside of the weight, which is actually pretty brutal right now. It's also just finding the right configuration. And right now I'm a mile and a half into the hike, about 43 minutes in, so moving very slowly. And we're trying to get up on that ridge over there. That's Ruin Ridge. And I've done it before, but today the plan is to scale it from the west side and then do something I haven't done before, and that's trek along the ridge and get to the activation zone. So we'll see, because I'm dying here, guys. So I'll give you an update in a bit, but the plan is to test the loadout, test the configuration, and I just spit all over the camera, sorry about that. And do some radio and establish some comms when we are extremely tired and exhausted, and see how all of that goes. I want to talk real quickly about the trekking poles. Some of you may be wondering why I'm using them. And outside of the obvious that they're great for the assist up the peak and down the peak, they actually serve a couple of different purposes. I like the ability to have something, especially when I'm going through brush and bushwhacking, which I'm going to have to do when we trek up the peak, to kind of be out in front of my feet. And that's just to make sure, like, if there are any snakes, that if they do decide to strike, that I give them something else, at least initially, to go after, that are not my legs. And in fact, I stepped on a rattlesnake last Friday while coming back from a trail run, and I was lucky because I landed right on its head, didn't make any noise, and I jumped back, and it took it a few seconds for it to like coil up, retreat, and then start rattling. So rattlesnake prevention is number 2, but I also use it as the structure for my tarp shelter, and also as a binding point for a couple of my antennas. So 4 items in one seems like a really good use of the trekking poles. Alrighty fellas, I got to make a decision. I'm 2.2 miles into this trek. The weight honestly is a bit too much for me. I was way too ambitious, and I'm at the end of the 4x4 trail here, and there's the summit. And with all of the heavier rains we've had, there's quite a bit of brush, so I'm going to be bushwhacking the whole way. So option 1 is just toughing it out, going slowly, hitting the last 800 feet pretty slowly, or setting up camp here 2.2 miles out. And well, I don't have great line of sight. I think I should be able to hit a couple of stations I want to work. And you know what, guys? I'm gonna play it safe. It's already 6:52, and I think it'll take me at least an hour just to go the half mile to get onto the ridge, and then not do the ridge line. So it's not what I wanted, but again, the goal here was to see how much the full loadout would impact me. All right, guys, I got to a bit higher ground, kind of on the base, still on the ascent, but what we're going to try to do is get line of sight over there, and that's heading south towards Phoenix, and then beyond that Tucson. So I'm going to try to set up the tripod and the 2-meter Yagi, and see what we can do, since I can't really spot myself on the soda frequency. All right, guys, we've got the camera tripod. This does not help in terms of weight, but I do need it to be able to set up the 2-meter Yagi and operate hands-free. Now, I showed the 2-meter Yagi on my roof in more detail in my last video, so check that out if you're interested. Now, the one change I did make in response to a viewer, I did color code the sections of the boom so that I don't put the elements in reverse order, and these line up to the color stickies I have on the 4 sets of elements. All right, let's take a look at the station walkthrough. I didn't set up the tarp shelter because I've got the eastern side of the ridge we're going to climb as cover right now. but this is what the current camp looks like. I have my sleeping pad that doubles as a sitting pad. We'll talk about the radio in a second. Making a little bit of coffee. Here is the filming tripod with the 2-meter Aero 2 Yagi. This is the one that breaks down into 3 sections and has 4 elements. And then I'm just running some RG8X feed line, and that's about 10 feet. And this brittle bush is usually yellow, and it's incredibly green. I just can't believe it. And here's the chest rig that I'm running. I'm running, I think this is from like Double Decker tacos. I like them because they have the pistol magazine in the front, and then you can run a rifle magazine in the back. This one was an old surplus one I picked up at a gun show a few years ago, so there isn't a third pouch there. And again, I'm just running the front plates here. The Eberlestock Fact Track, that thing is still rocking. It's my favorite pack. Don't know if I'm going to be able to show this very well. The rifle was a bit hard to fit in the pouch, but you can see here that this pouch here is actually designed for the butt of a rifle stock. And then I'm using the compression clips here. Got to cinch that down a bit more to tighten it down. And then I don't have anything on the top side, so I'm just using a paracord bracelet. So that's pretty much it. The only other modification I had to make, transitioning away from my chest rig, which I actually have here. This is the Haley Strategic chest rig I normally use. I don't run magazines in it. I use rifle mags. I am running a pistol magazine on the side, so technically I am running 3 magazines. Completely forgot. And then on the other side, I typically run the multi-tool. Right now it's just carrying my old CCW G43 pistol magazine. And then I carry quite a bit of support gear on the inside, like a compass, field notes, Right in the Rain notebook, electrolyte tablets, a couple of pieces of beef jerky, a lighter, a whistle, and a small Altoids first aid kit. And then on the inside, I typically just run the thermometer, my iPhone in there, and then in the main pouch, usually that's just like extra gear, like a light rain jacket or the GoPro, for example. So I wish I could figure out a good way to get this to work. If I had a better chest rig, I heard that the Mayflower chest rig actually has the, I think they're called Swift clips, so that I could actually clip that onto the chest rig. So I may look into that at some point. The other change I had to make was relocating the Yaesu FT-818 radio pouch onto the belt clip here. It actually is kind of nice. It didn't get in the way, and then I'm running on it the signal stick antenna, so this thing will fully collect. Ooh, that's interesting. I'm sure there's not a problem, but I was not expecting the bend like this. As you guys know, I'm really hard on my gear, so it's no knock on the antennas as of yet, but was not expecting it to have that little bit of kink. I thought this would go back to the full memory position. I had a viewer who threatened to unsubscribe. In fact, he did, just because I had coffee. You know, not going to change. All right, so what I want to do is pop on the Yaesu FT-818. For the preppers who are hanging out with this channel, this is an HF rig. It is a low power rig. It only runs 6 watts. But what's amazing about it is that with my license level, which is a general class license here in the US, I can operate VHF, UHF, which are essentially the little handhelds I have over there. But this also supports HF, so I can work basically 80 meters, 60 meters, 40, 20, basically all the bands that I'm licensed to on voice and digital modes. So with this radio, I have the ability to communicate very locally to FM repeaters, so a repeater that's about 10 miles away. We'll probably test that. FM simplex, so basically radio to radio. On my other rig, which has a bit more power, I have no problem hitting another station about 30 miles away. And then with this antenna here in its current configuration, the directional Yagi antenna, We're going to see if we can hit Tucson, which is about 140 miles from my location, on a mode called single sideband. And I don't think we're going to do any HF today, mostly because I don't want to set up the mast and run the longer antennas. I have all that in there. So that was also contributing to the weight, but it's always part of the core gear because I want to have multiple communications options. Now, the other reason why I like this setup is that it's inside of the TPA 817 pack frame, and these are protective aluminum rails that protect all the delicate knobs. But the other thing it does is relocate the antenna mount. So for the VHF UHF side, I have a mount here, and then on the other side I have one for HF. You can also see in the bag I have a small solar charge controller. This allows me to run the solar panels I have in my pack. I have a set of 20-watt folding panels, and I can go ahead and pretty much top off the battery that's riding in the admin pouch. And then there's also a USB output here, so I'm able to run my Raspberry Pi 3, which I also have inside the pouch. So have everything I need there for power in here. That blue item is a 4.5 amp hour lithium iron phosphate battery. It'll run this radio for about 4-ish hours, depending on how I use it. And then I have a bunch of cables here for doing various digital modes. Basically, with these cables connected and with the right antenna, I can actually run my Raspberry Pi, and I have some software on there that allows me to send emails, text messages to my wife, all basically with me having no access to the internet or cell infrastructure. So if you're more of a prepper that's new to the channel, I talk about these in other videos, but I just wanted to give it a quick run through. And then on the side here, I have a admin pouch that has a Right in the Rain notebook, some pencils, field cards, and then 2 folding whip antennas as well. All right, so we're going to try a 2-meter single sideband, and that's a mode which is not typically available on most radios. In fact, it's not available on really any of the handhelds. I think there is a Kenwood that has 2-meter single sideband receive but not transmit, because it would be really cool if the vendors would figure out a way to get single sideband into the HTs, because it's way more efficient than FM. K7 EME KT1 RUN, are you there, Doug? WD7R KT1 RUN, you there, Mike? All right, I guess we'll try CQ. And again, we're just running 6 watts, so that could be the issue. Actually, you know what? I may have to even point the antenna. Let me see what my bearing is right now. Yeah, guys, the thing about a directional antenna is that I have to make sure to orient it to the station I want to talk to, and I'm actually quite a few degrees off here. CQ, 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 this is Kilo Tango 1 Romeo Uniform November, operating portable in the Tonto National Forest. Calling any station, calling CQ, CQ, CQ. All right, switched over to the SOTA frequency, the Summits on the Air frequency. And for us in Phoenix, it's 144 decimal 410. And I had the wrong polarization right now for my antenna. It's in a horizontal configuration. And for FM, it's typically vertical, but let's give it a try. This is KT1 RUN. Is anyone on frequency? So what's funny, guys, I keep on getting comments that people say, hey, when shit hits the fan, pardon my French, I could just use my radio. It's okay. Well, good luck. Like I said, I know what I'm doing. I know the conditions here are not fantastic, and I know the operators in the surrounding area, and you can actually see it's taking a bit of time to raise somebody. So just keep that in mind, let alone knowing what frequency, which band, how to program the radios. So I really suggest everybody, at least in the US, start with their technician class entry-level license, and that'll give you pretty much the ability to work these handhelds on 2 meters and 440. This is KT1 RUN operating out of the Tonto National Forest. Would anybody be willing to give me a signal report? Again, the call here is Kilo Tango 1 Romeo Uniform November. All right, guys, I think I'm just in a very bad position. I've tried FM on The repeater, which I did get into, but there was nobody monitoring. That stinks. I tried FM on our local SOTA frequency, 144.410. Nothing heard. I also tried the 2 meter calling frequency, and nothing heard there as well. I also tried a single sideband on 2 meters on 144.200 and 250. Nothing there either. And right now it is about 7:50. And you know what? I don't want this to go to waste, so I'm actually going to try to get up the peak. All right. Well, let's see. We're going to head up the peak. I think it's going to take me about 45 minutes to do about the 700 to 800 feet, but we'll see. And depending on how I feel, maybe we'll even go across the ridge. Sorry guys, sometimes that's how radio goes, and that's the whole point of today, is that you don't know how you're going to feel, what the conditions are going to be like when you try to operate, and that's why we get out here and train. All right, let's do this bad boy. All right guys, this is I'm glad I'm doing this, but when I had looked at the map yesterday, the incline in some places is 45% to 56% grade, and I'm feeling it, but we're getting close. If you can believe it, I've only gone a 1/10 of a mile in about 17 minutes. All right, hope to get on the ridge another 30 minutes or so. All right, guys, every step is a struggle. Finally made it on the summit. It took 45 minutes to go 0.15 miles. That, I had to fight for every step. And I'm a runner. I would prefer to do a marathon before I do this again. And overall mileage has only been 2.35 miles. But this was a nasty hike. So we started out where those houses are in the distance. There is a small 4x4 trail. You can't really see a whole lot of it from this vantage point. And then I'm on the western edge of Ruin Ridge. In fact, I did a 2 meter single sideband contact here a few months ago with the Pactena Trek mount. And I'm going to catch my breath and then make a game day decision whether I want to go along the ridge and then get to the summit there. Local time right now, 8:53. Still good on water. A couple more observations just in case. I'll make it, but with all this gear, I'm finding myself getting caught up in things like taking off the pack. It gets caught up on my pistol. When I have the hydration system going through and carabiner to my chest, I have that clipped to the pack. So when I take off the sternum strap, I have to remember to do that. So just a lot of gear is resulting in a lot of gear catching on other parts, which is kind of obnoxious, especially when you're trying to shift around, 40 plus pounds of weight. The other quick thought before I decide what I'm going to do is I will tell you now, as a prepper who's done this with a minimal personal protection loadout with my full 3-day go bag, the plan is to avoid bugging out on foot, period. It's good to know that I can do it, but this is some rough work. Maybe I'm just a pansy, but this was tough. I really didn't think the extra 24 pounds in terms of the plate carrier, magazines, full-size pistol, and AR-15 pistol would be this much of a problem. So food for thought. I don't know if you're a prepper. Let me know what your thoughts are on bugging out. My take is stay in at all possible. If you have to go, stick to the vehicles and in groups, because this is not pleasant. I don't know how long you could survive out here like this. I must have been burning hundreds of calories pretty quickly, and while I do have a 3-day food pack, I only have 6,000 calories, so I would go through that pretty quickly. All right, guys, this is going to be a long video, but I want you to witness the adventure. I'm really trying. This isn't any Hollywood BS. This is me just, hey, this is the gear I have. This is what I thought I could do, and the reality is starting to fall short. This is Kilo Tango 1, Romeo Uniform November, approaching a summit. I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it. I'm wondering if anybody's on frequency.
WA7 Juliet Tango Mike. Tell me which peak you're on. Maybe I can get a beam on you here.
Whiskey 7 Alpha Stroke Mike November 061 QSL.
061. Okay. And what? Do you remember the name of it right offhand? I'm trying to think which one that is.
Roger, Roger. Ruin Ridge.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've done that one. It's rather loose and yeah, lots of choy. I remember that one.
Yeah, so I'm on the west side right now, and that has a real steep grade. I haven't done it from the side before, so the decision is whether I want to go what looks like maybe a half-mile along the ridgeline to get to the activation zone. Back to you.
Yeah, I hiked it from the north ridge when I did it, because it was a long walk, but there's a kind of a road that goes up there, and there's a road you must have walked up one of the ones on the south ridge. So I've not done it from that side, but I know the one on the north is no fun either. It's real loose, real steep. Yeah, I'm not sure which one might be better. Like I say, the one on the north was interesting. I've never done it again. Hi.
All right, guys, so that was a long contact.
WA7JTM, W7USA. Hey, Ray, here you are. WA7JTM back from wherever you were or whatever you were doing. Hi.
Yeah, I couldn't hear the other station. I'm not butting in on him, am I?
No, negative. He's hiking now. Yeah, he's doing Ruin Ridge, and you know where that one is.
Oh, very good, very good. So, what's the ETA?
1 hour, he said. About 1 hour. He actually stopped, but then he kind of regrouped and decided to push on and hit for the top. But yeah, you know how it is. It's it's an interesting, loose, choya-filled hike.
Wow, it's already hot too. I hope he takes his time. The lower part's not bad, but that upper part, it's a little steep.
All right, guys, so yeah, long video today, but I just want you to experience what I'm going through. And again, you heard from these guys, it's not the best idea for me to be out here, but I'm going to go trek along the ridgeline, and I'm going to come down the other side. And yeah, it'll be interesting. See you guys in a bit. Well, bad news, guys. I'm really sorry you made it this far. I'm not going to be able to do the ridge. It's too late in the morning right now, and there's about a 20-foot drop-off right here. And there may be a few more of those along the way, along the ridgeline. And the only way to handle this is to slowly work down the slope and then back in again. And I just don't have the energy. I mean, that could take another 2 hours to get to. I do prefer the other side coming down over there, but oh well. So I guess what I'm going to do is probably just get back to the spot over there with the rocks and call out to WA7JTM and just tell them that it's not going to happen today. I might even throw up the tarp shelter and relax for just a little bit. Yeah, so I came back to my spot, so I threw up a tarp shelter real quick to hydrate, and then I'm just heading back down the way I came. So I just want to let you know that I'm safe and that I won't be doing the summit. Back to you.
Okay, well, very good. Well, that's better safe than sorry, that's for sure. Okay, well, I will obviously leave it here. If anything comes up, let me know. I'll leave the beam this way and this right at you, and I should be able to hear you, maybe even down on the flats there.
All right, guys, we're off the hill finally. It's approaching 11 a.m. local time, and I tried getting the operator I was talking to at the top of the hill, WA7JTM, on simplex to let him know that I was okay. Unfortunately, I'm too low now, and he's unable to copy me, so I'll contact him when I get back home. 7JTM, thanks a lot for the support and for watching out for me. You're fantastic. Now, this video, I'm going to entitle it something like why bugging out on foot will get you killed. That's my personal opinion based on today's exercise and learnings. So what I learned today was, even with my 72-hour pack with enough water for 1 day and a water source about 2 miles from here, I'm not going to be able to survive for 72 hours. Today was actually pretty rough on its own, and I've only been out here for coming up on 6 hours right now. And these are the things I think would actually kill me. So first of all, the weight doesn't do me any justice. It's just tiring. The 73 pounds is killing me. In terms of water, I have 4 liters of water that I went through, just 1 liter left. But like I said, I'm less than 2 miles from the house, so I'm okay. Refilling my water would be an actual chore and just take a whole bunch out of me. In fact, the water source that I have access to is a wellhead that drains into an animal trough, which looks pretty nasty most of the time. It usually has a layer of algae and a bunch of other nasty things. And while I do have a couple of ways of filtering water, actually 3 ways to filter water, you don't want to mess with Giardia or Cryptosporidia. So the water would kill me too. Right now it's around 11 o'clock a.m. local time, and I don't have my temperature gauge with me. At least I don't have easy access to it, but I think it's probably close to 100 degrees Fahrenheit, so that would kill me. I found a shaded spot. I do have that tarp shelter, but still the elements would also pretty much take care of me pretty quickly. The animal situation too, like I said, I stepped on a rattlesnake last Friday. While it's a little warm right now, probably not a problem, but when I left this morning at 5:30, that was prime snake time. So a snake bite, especially with Arizona having the highest concentration of pit vipers, that could be a problem too. And you guys saw the terrain. Going up just that 1,000 feet was ridiculous. I was taking 1 step at a time. There was a lot of loose rock, no trail, cholla. Basically every plant wanted to kill me on the way up there. So I could have easily broken an ankle or, you know, a handful of bones and blood out. So probably not going to survive. The other thing to keep in mind with all of the 24 pounds of personal protection gear that I have, I'm not a qualified professional gunfighter. I've never served. While I do a little bit of training, I'm safe with firearms. I'm no high-speed operator, so I would likely get myself killed if I got into a firefight. So if I had to do this again, I would drop the plate carrier. I don't think I would bring this rifle. I certainly wouldn't bring 3 PMags. Quite honestly, I think I would stick maybe to my full-size pistol, but more realistically, probably my normal everyday carry. There's just no way to carry all this gear on foot. Even in a group, it's ridiculous. And granted, you know, I've got things like the radio, but that's a really valuable communication device and something that would be valuable to a group. So I would actually have a commodity to trade with. And the radio actually, all the gear for the radio, the solar panel, the antennas, the man pack, that adds about 15 pounds of weight. So if I was looking at the 24 pounds of weight from my body armor and firearms, I would actually prefer just to have a small Glock 43 with a couple of magazines, and then have the comms and be the comms guy in a group. So really that's it, guys. I tried my hardest. I actually think today was a success. It opened my eyes in terms of, even with my level of training, running 5 days a week, being out here backpacking at least 3 times a month, I couldn't do it. So I challenge anybody who could do this safely. Take your 72-hour bag and go to an area on foot and see how far you can go. Honestly, your best bet, my personal choice, if I can have any say in the matter, would be to bunker in, build a community. And if you do have to relocate, caravan out with your motorhome, with your trucks, with all your gear, because there's just not enough gear that you can carry on your person. All right, I'm finally done for today, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I know it was long. I don't know how it got together, but you guys are all amazing. Oh, and one last thing. I'm about to hit 5,000 subs, so thank you so much for everybody who is supporting the channel. I never do this, but it would be great if you'd help me get over the finish line if you haven't subscribed. I'm the Tech Prepper. Be strong, be safe, and be prepared.